6 of the 2018 FIM Sidecar World Championship is the Croatian Grand Prix from Rijeka, the penultimate event of the campaign and the first weekend on which the sport's ultimate prize could be determined. Arriving at the Automotodrome Grobnik, Reeves and Wilks are just 25 points away from sealing the 2018 crown. Over 100,000 fans packed into Assen for the Dutch Sidecar Grand Prix. The World Championship fight returned following the summer break. And the 2018 title contest moved one step closer to its conclusion with the sixth victory of the campaign for Reeves and Wilks. In a race where their main rivals were desperate to recover lost ground, the series leaders didn't get off to the best of starts, and it was Ben and Tom Birchall who hit the front after an early pass on Päivärinta and Veravainen. Reeves and Wilks were next to make a charge, coming through from 4th to 2nd. Having dispatched Stroyer and Russo with some ease, Päivärinta and Veravainen also fell in straightforward fashion, the Finns seemingly suffering from a lack of top-end speeds. Consolidating the lead, though, proved a tougher task as Reeves and Wilks proceeded to swap places with Ben and Tom Birchall over the coming laps. Despite arriving in the Netherlands with a comfortable points advantage, Reeves and Wilks showed no signs of playing the percentages game and fought tooth and nail for top spot, even risking their machine as they collided with the race leaders. Just when it appeared the Birchalls had finally done enough to break clear, they suffered a crippling mechanical problem that dropped them down to 3rd and left them nursing their machine home for the bottom step on the podium. A 5th 2018 victory for Reeves and Wilks as they moved to within 25 points of the title and put one hand on the trophy. Gaining a further 9 points overall from their win in the Netherlands, Reeves and Wilks extend their advantage to a mammoth 51 points with only 3 races remaining. Behind the fight for the FIM medals, a separate contest for 5th is also yet to be resolved. The Automotodrome Grobnik has been a regular venue for the FIM Sidecar World Championship for over a decade. But even the most experienced outfits are in for a surprise in 2018. The track itself was known as one of the most abrasive and uneven, but thanks to resurfacing work ahead of this campaign, hosts a somewhat different challenge this year. As always, the sidecars are the primary attraction of the weekend's programme in Rijeka, so an enthusiastic and knowledgeable crowd is guaranteed. Ben and Tom Birchall dominated qualifying to secure their 5th pole position of the 2018 season by a 9/10 of a second margin over Reeves and Wilks. But the closer fight during the sessions was over the last of the front row grid slots, 3/10 of a second separating 3rd from 5th. Stroyer and Russo eventually secured only their 2nd front row start of 2018, with Wisson and Hoffer recording a career best 4th, leading row 2. Päivärinta and Veravainen missed out on the front row for only the 2nd time this season, but recorded a comfortable 5th. A 12-outfit grid in Rijeka, with Fownes and Christie and Holden and Kane sitting out the visit to Croatia. Michael Fairhurst made his return alongside Scott Lorry, while a new passenger joined Jans Rems, a familiar face in the World Championship, Manfred Weschelberger. Ben and Tom Birchall have claimed pole in all but one of 2018's rounds, but have an underwhelming record away from the line, and again they failed to claim the whole shot in Rijeka. Championship leaders Reeves and Wilks instead stealing the advantage into the first turn. While the other championship contenders, Päivärinta and Veravainen, moved around the outside of Wisson and Hoffer for 4th, the Birchall brothers swiftly recovered the lead from Reeves and Wilks, getting better traction off turn 3 and squeezing up the inside into turn 4. Further down the order, an underwhelming start from Sam and Adam Christie had seen them relegated to 8th, the top 6 immediately breaking away with Blackstock and Rosny holding on to the back of the group. The Dave Holden Racing Suzuki has been inconsistent in 2018, but with Wisson and Hoffer dropping back after a strong qualifying, their British rivals aim to continue strong progress from 7th on the grid. Instead, they collected the tail end of the Swiss duo up into turn 15, flipping Thomas Hoffer out of the 41's chair and sending both outfits towards the gravel. The race was quickly stopped under red flags for recovery, and thankfully no harm done to either of the competitors. Greater damage had been done to the respective machines, although during the stoppage each had enough time to make repairs well enough to return to the grid for the restart. Each of the teams lined up for a second time from their original starting slot, leaving Blackstock and Rosny with the work to do once again off the line. But after their earlier collision, the number 95 outfit was visibly struggling for speed, dropping back from the lead quintet that they'd been chasing in the initial running, as the field splintered into two groups once again. No mistake from Benetton Birchall this time as they led the way, Päivärinta and Veravainen capitalising on a second start to capture third around the outside into turn 2 and leaving the three championship contenders to fight it out up front. Blackstock and Rosny meanwhile continued to slow and, having been passed by Lorient Fairhurst around turn 10, dropped back and out of the running altogether. They retired to the pits with steering problems, ending a run of 5 consecutive scoring races for them in 2018. Päivärinta and Veravainen kept up a close pursuit of Reeves and Wilkes in the early laps for second, while Benetton Birchall continued their qualifying form by lapping a second a lap faster at the head of the field. And the series leaders' hopes of securing the world title in the sprint race were ended with a dramatic mechanical failure, a spectacular engine blow-up into turn 5, leading to their first non-finish of 2018. All Reeves and Wilkes could do was pull off to the side of the circuit with their machine on fire and rue the potential loss of a valuable chunk of their championship lead. Sam and Adam Christie gained 2 positions on lap 4, one inherited of course after the championship leader's retirement, and another seized down the inside into turn 15, a promotion to 5th at the expense of Lorient Fairhurst. Other than a battle at the back of the field, that move was the last overtake of the race, but there was one further significant change of positions. Unlucky Swiss duo Wissen and Hofer, running an impressive 4th and set to make back lost ground in the standings, were forced into the pits with a clutch problem and retired from the race. No such issues for Benetton Birchall, who've had more than their fair share of mechanical misfortune in 2018. But with Reeves and Wilkes out of contention and their own Yamaha by contrast running well, the reigning world champions were able to build a comfortable 10-second lead and claim only their second victory of the season. A 7th podium finish in 9 2018 races for Benetton Birchall, but only the second time they'd outscored Reeves and Wilkes, a crucial result when it was desperately needed. Päivärinta and Veravainen too had made important points gains, taking second position over 13 seconds clear of Stroyer and Rousseau. Just 9 finishers in the end, with 3 retirements largely settling the top 5 places. A closer battle at the rear of the field in the latter stages, where positions 6 to 8 were covered by just over 3 seconds at the flag. It felt like a short race for us with a restart that worked against us, because our first start was a lot better than our second, but we're happy enough with the result. We had a very good start second time around, and we had a good pace straight away to be able to attack Reeves and Wilkes. We didn't get to pass him because he had an engine failure, but we had good pace on the Honda. The bike is now working well, so I think we have a good chance in tomorrow's gold race.
You know, we had to do everything that we could to try and win, and that's where we were. You know, we've been fast all weekend and we were leading the race, and then, you know, it's hard luck for Tim, but we also had some bad luck this year, so now we're sort of back in the championship. It means a lot, so we're just going to make sure everything's perfect for tomorrow and try and do the same again and see where we are.
A first non-scoring race of the season for Reeves and Wilkes means the gap between the lead trio that stood at 52 points closes down to just 32. Third position for Stroyer and Rousseau enables them to consolidate 4th place overall. Lorient Fairhurst moved 12th after their best 2018 finish. In tennis terminology, Reeves and Wilkes had already given away a first match point, Benetton Birchall remaining in the hunt and, albeit trailing by 26 points, left themselves just one more victory away from forcing a title decider at the final race in Germany. With 50 points still up for grabs in 2018's 2 remaining races, 3 outfits are still in contention for the FIM gold medals. Tim Reeves's mechanical failure during the sprint race in Rijeka means that only one of the minnows further down the standings have managed to finish every race in the points. And with the title in the balance, the pressure is high on the series leaders, 2 challengers, not to suffer any more retirements. As you know, I've won several championships and the pressure doesn't really get to me. I actually like the fact that anything can happen in a race. Like today, Tim Reeves's engine blew up and the whole championship closed up slightly. That's interesting for spectators to see what's going on at the top of the series. Anything can still happen. Like everyone else, we're here to win championships. And while it's still possible, we believe we can do it. Reeves and Wilks may have missed their first opportunity to seal the crown after failing to score in the opening race of the weekend in Croatia. But the 2 closest teams to them in the standings must rely either on further misfortune or for some of the lesser ranked outfits to get between them and the current championship leaders.
Any of the top 5 or 6 can apply the pressure. I remember the feeling well when you're in the lead of a world championship and it's difficult. So I know how it feels and I don't envy him. So any of the teams can put pressure on us. I think there's every chance that it will go to the last round. That's what a World Championship's about, and we hope it does, to give us a bit more of a chance to try and secure it also. So we've just done everything that we can to make the bike perfect and to ride and be fit and strong and ready for this weekend. So we'll just keep pushing and try to get another win this weekend and see what happens.
As their World Championship rivals continued to plot a late attack on the crown, Reeves and Wilks had been hard at work to repair their machine in time for Rijeka's gold race, their second opportunity to seal the 25 points they needed to secure the world title with a round to spare.
The engine blew up, which punched a hole in the front of it, and it caught fire. So it wasn't really ideal. And yeah, obviously we had a DNF, but we worked till 3:30 this morning, and we've completely rebuilt the bike. It's a different engine. We've had to. It was obviously there was quite a bit of damage because fire is the worst thing that can happen to you, unfortunately, when you're racing. And it's we're on the back foot a bit, but it's all good. We just did the morning warm up, and we just kept going to make sure there was no misfires or issues. It did all 8 laps, no problem. And we need to make a few adjustments now just to make it a little bit stronger for the race. But it looks pretty good, yeah. So hopefully we can try again.
Meanwhile, further back in the rankings, retirements for Wisson and Hoffer and Blackstock and Rosley seemingly ended their respective challenges for 5th overall. And by beating their direct rivals at Remps Racing in the sprint race, Sam and Adam Christie moved one step closer to securing their position as best of the rest, behind the series-leading quartet of former World Championship winners.
We had a good race yesterday with Scott. A couple of people dropped out, but I think we've got the pace to push a bit harder and hope to fight for a podium.
The outfits lined up for their 3rd start of the weekend, ready for the 18-lap gold race with the championship on the line. A win for pole sitters Benetton Birchall would force a series decider in Oschersleben. A race victory for Reeves and Wilks from 2nd on the grid would give them the crown before heading to Germany. From 5th on the grid, meanwhile, Päivärinta and Verovainen could only hope for spectacular errors or failures from their rivals, having been severely hampered by a double disqualification at the Sachsenring. 2 dramatic opening laps provided more challenges for the championship contenders in the 2018 series. Hopes of Päivärinta and Verovainen challenging for the lead positions depended on them quickly making it through traffic, but instead their fast start simply propelled them into the pack, and they were squeezed between Wisson and Hoffer and Stroyer and Russo in the run down to the first turn. A quick getaway for Laurie and Fairhurst, by contrast, enabled them to make up 2 positions and see 6th. Blackstock and Rosny slipping to 7th, and Whiston and Hoffer taking some time to rediscover their pace after their early collision. The events of lap 2 mean the championship fight will go to the final race of the campaign. Benetton Birchall stormed to the front around the outside of Reeves and Wilkes into turn 2 and seized track position. But their move caught the series leaders by surprise, and number 77 outfit ran off the circuit altogether to avoid the new race leaders. With no likelihood of recovering the victory that they needed to secure the crown, Reeves and Wilkes set about a damage limitation ride, aiming to reclaim as many positions as possible, with the intention of maintaining the majority of their championship advantage. They set off well enough, passing Laurie and Fairhurst for 5th, and although Benetton Birchall had made a break up front, their rivals were still very much in contention for podium places. Meanwhile, the group ahead of Reeves and Wilkes continued to fight over 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Having dropped places on the opening lap, Whiston and Hoffer had already recovered past Laurie and Fairhurst, and now made their latest move on a wounded Pijverinter and Veravainen for 3rd. But Reeves and Wilkes' hopes of rejoining that battle for the podium places were ended, as their lap 2 off-track excursion had caused damage to their engine. The second retirement of the weekend left their 2018 lead hanging by a thread. Far from dropping out of contention in the same vein, Pijverinter and Veravainen managed to remain in the fight for podium places despite an overheating problem that had been caused by clear damage to their outfits. They and Whiston and Hoffer exchanged positions repeatedly, but it was the Finns' top-end speed into turn 15 that made it their favourite passing area. The same braking zone was used to good effect by Sam and Adam Christie, slow starters from 6th on the grid, working their way back through the field from 9th. Not to be outdone, Whiston and Hoffer again demonstrated that they've been gradually gaining on the top 4 this season in terms of pure pace, and they exploited Pijverinter and Veravainen's problems to give themselves a shot at a first podium finish of the campaign. But as the Swiss pairing were then held up by Stroyer and Russo in seconds, Pijverinter and Veravainen were again able to capitalise down the inside into turn 12 to recover 3rd position. Finally clear of Whiston and Hoffer, Pijverinter and Veravainen found their pace on lap 5, setting a new personal best and hunting down Stroyer and Russo for 2nd. Having already made moves around the outside for 3rd, they surprised Stroyer and Russo down the inside at the back end of the lap. But 2nd position proved a step too far for their ailing machine, and they were unable to hold on for too long to their newly acquired ranking. Stroyer and Russo got out of the tow at the end of lap 5 to make a slipstream pass into turn 1 and never looked back from there, although Pijverinter and Veravainen were never more than a couple of seconds behind over the next 12 laps. Whiston and Hoffer did begin to drop back, seemingly burnt out from their earlier surge and probably suffering damage as well as the podium position settled down. That left the focus on the battle for best of the rest in 5th, the position held after a strong start by Laurie and Fairhurst. Keen to get through quickly, with 2 further outfits in the group and closing, Blackstock and Rosny made a successful move into lap 7, Sam and Adam Christie next in line to have a go at the number 72. Laurie and Fairhurst were not done just yet, and as the group bunched up, they misjudged turn 10, ploughing into the back of the number 95 and spinning them out. Sam and Adam Christie were perfectly placed to capitalise, passing both outfits and moving clear. Blackstock and Rosny, meanwhile, left Rijeka scoreless with their 2nd retirement, their hopes of snatching 5th in the world extinguished.
Imamo još jedno odustajanje sa brojem 95.
Whiston and Hoffer were also seemingly struggling with mechanical problems, running over 6 seconds off their earlier pace on lap 14 and dropping to 6th. That released Sam and Adam Christie up to 4th, and they held on well despite pressure to the finish from Grabmuller and Lavarelle. Having come through from 10th, the Delta Racing team could be more than satisfied with this competitive performance, their best of 2018 so far. Enjoying a consistent campaign, the Remps Racing team became the only competitors to have completed every race so far this season as they claimed 8th, a result that leaves them an impressive 6th overall. Finishing directly ahead of their squabble for 8th were Whiston and Hoffer, whose fall from grace from 3rd to 7th was complete on the final lap, with a move from Laurie and Fairhurst that moved them back to 6th. At the head of the field, Ben and Tom Birchall were almost 30 seconds clear, running metronomically consistent pace on their way to back-to-back victories. Having come into the weekend 51 points behind, their wins secured a maximum 50-point gain over Reeves and Wilkes. Most importantly, they enjoyed a problem-free weekend themselves after several debilitating electrical issues on their machine this season. Only a 3rd win of the 2018 campaign and hardly the most difficult in the end, but it was their pressure on the opening 2 laps that forced Reeves and Wilkes into a mistake, and now the series will head to Oschersleben with a clear head-to-head duel in prospect. Elation for Ben and Tom Birchall. Their season finally back on track at just the right moment. The only remaining question is whether they can make it a hat-trick of consecutive successes that would give them back-to-back world crowns.
I'm here and everybody here.
That is our full shot.
First is okay, but this vision here and looking up.
Less than a second separated Grandmuller and Lavarelle from Sam and Adam Christie at the checkered flag. An impressive ride and a good result for them after problems in the first half of this season. Close finishes for 6th and 8th as well. This race was a bit difficult for Jussi and I. Because of the crash near the start, the bike was a bit broken. But this is racing and 3rd place is okay. Now the Birchalls are only 1 point from Reeves going to Oschersleben, and we're not too far behind, so I think there will be a big fight there. Full gas.
Ei mitään tästä. Nyt korjataan vaan pyörä ja seuraava kisa ja full gas.
We had a really nice race. It was a really hard battle. We had a good start. We were 3rd in the first corner, and then we followed Birchall and Reeves. But Reeves made a mistake too late on his brakes, and we passed him. Pekka was really close. I kept seeing on my pit board +1 and +0, so a really good race.
I've got amazing feelings right now. We came here with such a mountain to climb, and now we're almost at the top of it. So we can go to the next race, you know, with a good chance of winning and being world champions again, which is our dream and our team's dream. So, you know, thanks to everyone that helps us do this, and we'll be doing our best like we did here and see what happens.
The trip to Croatia has seemingly settled positions 4, 5 and 6, leaving 2 fights still to be decided. 7th position with a whole host of contenders and the all-important title itself. An incredible chain of events in Rijeka sends the championship to Oschersleben, more open than it's been since the end of the opening round, with 3 teams covered by 16 points, 1 race away from the title.